Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Essential Wellness Podcast. My name is Aisha Harley, and this is your weekly drop for essential oils and everyday wellness. This podcast is for anyone who wants to feel confident using doTERRA essential oils for your health, your home, and your everyday life. Each week, our Essential Wellness Collective will share simple tips, recipes, and protocols to make oils easy to understand and effortless to use. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, and please share with a friend who loves natural wellness. This week, we're diving into doTERRA's RevitaZen, an advanced cleansing blend, and exploring its important role within our 90-day reset. Our Oils A to Z call is led by Ariana Harley, joined by Dr. Louise Rose, Dr. Mica Carew, and Will Wan, licensed acupuncturist. Today, they will share practical education on how RevitaZen supports the body's natural detox pathways and how to use it confidently during the reset. Ariana, I'm going to pass the call on over to you.
Hi, community. So good to see all of you in this new year. RevitaZen is a phenomenal choice for new energy. And if you have it, I invite you to grab your bottle, put it in your hands. We use this a lot for detoxing, so sometimes we forget we can use it aromatically. Rub your palms together and take 3 long, deep inhales through your nose. Put both feet on the floor. Feel your body grounding. You can close your eyes. And when you're doing this, just observe your sensation. What do you notice? What do you smell? How does it make you feel? And you can share that in the chat. What are there notes that you pick up on? Does it feel spicy to you? Do you smell citrus? Tell me what you experience when you smell it.
Ariana,
Yeah.
do you have a fan on or something in your room? There's a kind of a funny buzzing coming through your computer, your
Oh,
sound.
it's my teapot. I think it should stop. It just boiled water for my
Okay,
tea.
okay. It's interfering.
Okay. Does it sound better now?
Yeah.
Great. Sorry, guys. Had my teapot on for some more jasmine tea. All right. Let me share my screen. And so, if you've been with us for a while, you might know, you might remember Zendocrine. And Zendocrine has been changed to RevitaZen. And the change is that ginger is added and they reformulated this blend. And right when we were beginning to start this call, Will and I were talking, and Will share later, but we were talking about how the blend is a little, to me, my word would be softer than the Zendocrine. The Zendocrine felt a little more like a power punch when I would use it. And this is just feels really approachable. It feels like, oh, I could reach for this daily and use it. And it just doesn't feel as intense, which I really like. And so we're going to start off. I'm actually going to skip to this slide and just let you know what's in this blend. It has tangerine essential oil, rosemary, geranium, ginger, juniper, and cilantro. And I want to let you know too that there is also a RevitaZen capsule, and the blend in there is a little different. And we're going to be talking about that next week. So today we are just talking specifically about the essential oil blends. And I'm going to pass the mic to Dr. Louise Rose, and she's going to kick us off with how we're going to use this, how it helps our body. We always divide our calls up into body, mind, spirit. So, body is more of the physical uses, and we say that with the caveat that we know that we can't really separate the emotions and the spirit and the body, but it's just a great way to organize our calls and talk about it.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We can
Yep.
hear you great.
Awesome. Thank you. Dr. Rose here from Rose Cabinet Medicine. And I'm just so grateful to have this community to talk about these oils with and share our experience with, um, using them in our own lives and then also with our clients and patients if we're practitioners. So I always get excited to come onto these calls. It revives my own interest in the oil, maybe when I do the research, and then I love hearing everybody else's take on it as well. So clinical, physical aspects of RevitaZen blend. What I'm going to do is just kind of talk a little bit about the blend and how it's used, and then break it down into the different oils and why they're chosen for this blend. So last week on this call, Dr. Josie Schmidt and I did a kind of a nice introduction to um, this idea of a reset and why would we want to do a reset with our body and how can we support what in naturopathic medicine we call emunctories or our organs of elimination. So this oil RevitaZen is really set up to support all our different detox pathways. And I highly recommend going back and listening to last week's call, but just to just sort of in general, we want to make sure our bowels are moving, right? We want to make sure our colon is able to eliminate the waste that's coming out of our system. We want to support our liver whenever we're thinking of detox pathways. Our liver is like the master detoxifying organ in the body, and it has these different stages and phases that it takes our toxins. It takes the toxins from the blood, and it takes a fat soluble toxin, and then it turns it into a water soluble toxin, and then it moves it towards elimination, towards the bowel or the bladder. So the liver is really important that all of those different phases are functioning. And then, of course, the kidney and bladder are also really important elimination features of body's natural wisdom that we have. So, how do these oils help support these organs of elimination? So we have tangerine. We know tangerine is really great it's high in limonene. And why is limonene important? It's one of the major, it feeds into one of the major antioxidants in our body, glutathione. It helps our liver produce more glutathione, which is going to help protect those cells and help quench that inflammatory process. Um, think of tangerine, just bring it up in your mind and smell it. It's very cleansing, it's very bright. We know it helps move digestion. It can be helpful for um, sluggish digestion. It's cleansing and clearing and moving. And then it's also really supportive on an emotional level too. So it's very calming and it's just a beautiful all around oil. I would say, I'm trying to think of, I think there's a product that uses tangerine oil for upper GI issues as well. So we know that it's going to help move things in the right direction. And then we have rosemary. Rosemary in herbal medicine has been used forever and ever to help support liver and gallbladder health. So I think of it as warming and stimulating and circulating. It's going to move the blood through the liver, through the gallbladder. It's going to help us digest our fats, helps with healthy metabolism. Um, it has it is high in 1,8-cineol and alpha pinene, And those in biochemical pathways help support the NRF2 pathway, which also increases our glutathione, our major antioxidant in our body. So here are these little drops that are helping to support our liver, gallbladder, brain. Rosemary is also really known to help with clearing the fog out of the brain and helping with that sort of burnout and fatigue that is so common in our modern life these days. Next, I want to talk about geranium. I always forget how powerful geranium is. Is anybody else in that field? So it's very forward fragrantly when you smell RevitaZen. I think geranium really comes through strongly, which is a great reminder of its gentle power, right? Geranium is a very powerful and yet gentle heart medicine, heart opener. It has effects on the hormonal system. It's supportive of our liver. It helps balance blood sugar issues. It can help with lymphatic circulation. It can help with balancing our fluids in our body. So think about all those different systems that just geranium is affecting right there, right? But yet she's so gentle and sweet and helps bring, harmony to this middle part of our body. On a chemistry level, geranium is famous for citronellol and geraniol, and it's a very great antifungal as well. So it's very protective. We have ginger in our blend here today, RevitaZen. And ginger is high in zingiberine. That's the chemistry. And if we think about ginger is spicy, it's warming, it's circulating, it's going to help. It's going to help with that digestive process. It's going to help us metabolize, break down any of the toxins that are being stirred up, and then eliminate and flush out of the body. Ginger is a very powerful anti-inflammatory as well. There's a lot of great research on how ginger can help us reduce those inflammatory pathways, helps with excess gas and nausea. It's a digestive stimulant, like I said, so it can help with sluggish bowels. That's definitely something we want to be conscious of when we're stirring up the toxins in our body. We want to make sure the pathways of elimination are open. Juniper berry is high in alpha-pinene from the berries, and then the needles are high in limonene. So we get both of those constituents with juniper berry. And juniper berry is famous for its action on the kidneys. So we think of juniper when we want to help support the waterways in the body. It can help reduce excess fluid retention, supports the urinary tract health in terms of having a good microbial balance. It can help clear uric acid from the body, which excess uric acid can become a problem and build up in the joints. And it's also stimulating and supporting liver and gallbladder health. Boom. And then lastly, we have cilantro, which has a long history of use in culinary medicine and herbal medicine as a heavy metal detoxifier. I will say in my essential oil resources that I was unable to find actual research that supported that the oil supports that itself. So I'm curious to hear what other practitioners have to say about that. But we know that cilantro is just an overall cleanser. It's going to help support the body's cleansing pathways. And I wanted to say that this oil can be used topically, internally, and aromatically. And like Ariana said, sometimes we forget about using this oil aromatically. And I think in the 90-day reset program, we are bringing it in during the second month. However, we're just about to start our first month now, and I would support, I would say, start diffusing it in your space as a way of just reminding yourself what's happening and allowing for those emunctories to start opening gently. And see how that supports you. And then of course you can use it in your castor oil packs. You can put it on your feet every day, and you can add it to your water. And then of course we have the RevitaZen capsules, which we will be going over in a different call. And then I refer you to last week's call as well if you want to know more about that. Dr. Josie Schmidt went into some good details about how those capsules are supporting us too. All right. Thank you so much for your attention today, and I look forward to hearing from everyone else.
Thanks, Dr. Louise. And that was a beautiful segue into my section, which is the emotional uses. So I think, especially for the Western mind, when we go to the allopathic doctor, we are so used to separating things. Like my knee hurts. Okay, let's look at your knee, right? And we sometimes forget that our knee is connected to our entire body. And when our knee is off, it's going to affect maybe our back and our feet and other things. And I'm mentioning this because the emotional body directly impacts our physical body. And so when we're thinking about resetting, we're talking and detoxing, we talk about the liver and the kidneys and the gallbladder, all so incredibly important. And what also is important is that when we are cleansing our body, what also can happen is it cleanses out emotions. I'm really a huge fan of Dr. Gabor Mate, and he has done a lot of work with addiction and with trauma, and he just keeps emphasizing over and over again the clinical and observational research they're seeing of the emotional impact on our bodies. The ACE study through Kaiser Permanente also shows this. So trauma, ungrieved or unfelt emotions that are trapped in the body. And so I encourage you to let emotions move through you. And Dr. Mica will talk more about this, but last night she let me know that she got with RevitaZen and she got the download of the oil of transformation. And so it's really lovely if you're going to join us for the reset, and I hope you do, to really allow yourself what is it that you want to shed. Not only do we want to let go of those heavy metals and the toxins, but maybe also the toxic thinking, maybe the fear that is coming in through the airways and the internet so often. Maybe it's a scarcity mindset or a resentment or an anger, right? Those things can be held in the body and make us sick. And so I encourage you to also use this oil. Dr. Louise was saying, hey, for the first month, I would encourage you to diffuse it. Yes, yes, yes. Start getting things moving, not only on the physical, but on the emotional realm as well. And so, what will RevitaZen do for you? Well, it's going to pave the way for new life experiences. It's really great to bring in when there's major life changes, such as you're quitting smoking, you're altering your diet, you're leaving a toxic relationship, you're trying to maybe not have as much screen time, right? You want to break through some of these habits that aren't serving you. And you want to reawaken that vital life energy, right? We don't want it drained by taking our energy and stuffing down emotions or being stuck in resentment, right? So think of this reset too as a way to reset the whole body. And those are some of the elements that this blend can help you to do. And you can also not only diffuse it, but you can, when you pour it into your water, smell it. You can just hold the cup and smell the oil. You can put a few drops in your palm, like we did at the beginning of this call, and smell it. And then I also wanted to show you guys before I hand the mic off. I just before this call put on this. This is a little belly button patch, and you can pour the RevitaZen right into your belly button. And many of us have been doing this. And then you put this patch right on top, and it's a really lovely thing to do before you go to bed at night. And so that is another gorgeous way to use RevitaZen. You can find these little patches online if you just Google belly button patch. And so,
Ariana,
yeah,
before we pass over to Mica, are you able to put the presentation back in presenter mode?
I am not.
Okay.
Um, I'm pretty limited on being able to do some controls, so I can, but I
Even if
it,
you disconnect and reconnect?
um yeah, here I'll do it. I just
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And then Mica, go ahead and tell us what you got.
Hi, everyone. Mm, RevitaZen. So, first of all, I just want to say, like Dr. Louise Rose commented on about how grateful she is for this community and this opportunity to work with oils. I feel the same way. And I'm a late adopter. I'm not an early adopter. I liked my Zendocrine as it was in my mind. I did. Why would they have to change such a great product, a great blend? I'm not ready to change. I had a couple extra bottles of Zendocrine. It took me a while to um, move into RevitaZen. And actually, it wasn't until I started meditating with this beautiful, beautiful. See, I switched, but I had to talk to it. I had to be with it. I had to meditate with it. I had to really, really use it in all the ways, diffusing internally, topically, and get to know it. It's like a relationship. It's like I'm a slow adopter to friendship. It takes me a while. I let it simmer. And then I don't let go. So I'm loyal. I'm a loyal buddy. So I am now loyal to RevitaZen. Um, but so first of all, so there's that. And I want to say during this 90-day reset to also reset your fields. And I know I've talked to you about we exist way beyond our physical body. And it's really important to, when people come to my Qigong class, the first thing that we do is we clear our fields. So you can just visualize, yeah, Josie, Dr. Josie, just visualize that you're in an eggshell, a beautiful eggshell, and you're just clearing around you. I'm definitely mentioning this now because in my practice this last couple of 2 weeks, all of you are empaths, sensitive beings. You're called to the oils. And those are the people that I see. And I work with people with energetic hygiene. So their physical body, but also their energetic bodies. And what I've been noticing is that my patients fields, some fields would be in, but others, the emotional body would be way out. And the reason being is that when there is, yeah, Claudia, she says she has chills down her back by clearing. When there is a lot of activity out in the planet, for a sensitive being, it's like the radars. Ooh, 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 ooh. Where is it? Where is it? Where is what I need to watch out for? And in it, and really there's nothing, so Ariana was talking about the trauma, and but our nervous systems feel like there's danger right in front of us, and energetically empaths go out, their fields go out, and this is a time to bring it in. You bring in your fields. And as I was telling Ariana last night, of course, always, without a doubt, the oil and the blends come up right at this exact time that we all need it. And so RevitaZen is helping. So and it's not, so diffuse it, of course, to help you, even if you can't see the energetic fields. Trust me, they're there, and it'll help you feel your nervous system safe, stable, and secure. So you can carry on with your daily activities and be transformative within your community. And maybe that's just doing your daily tasks. Okay, so I also want to say that we sat, Dr. Josie, Dr. Louise, Will, a long time ago, many years ago, meditated on geranium. And we were like, wow, that is a powerhouse. She demands respect. Well, look how geranium is smack dab in the middle of this blend. So sometimes when we were meditating with geranium, we couldn't go right in. She's like, no, you're going too fast. And I'm not, yeah, like, no, maybe next week. She's a late adopter. She's like me. It's like, let me feel you out. Let me feel you out a little bit more. So here she is right in the middle, holding the rest of the oils. RevitaZen, it's like a ceremony. So I recommend to use RevitaZen for ritual and ceremony, preparing for ceremony, preparing for ritual, preparing for clearing. 90 days, that's the ceremony. Take every day of your day of the 90 days. Think of it as a ritual, a ceremony that you're doing to help yourself and your body, mind, and spirit. Okay, now let me tell you what I got. Well, the oil of transformation. And at the same time, having the feeling of support, the steady support through the transformation. So you could be going through a fiery time and at the same time have a foundational support by using RevitaZen. It's different. So in detoxes, like Dr. Louise and Dr. Josie had mentioned before, and Aisha, about the harsh cleanses that we all used to do, it was fiery and uncomfortable, body, mind, and spirit. It was pouring out. It was breaking open the dams and pushing things out. It was not merciful to our bodies or minds and spirits. And so RevitaZen is so merciful, and this 90-day cleanse is so merciful. So it might be fiery. We might be going through fiery times, but we feel the support with the RevitaZen. It reminds me of a life coach or a gym coach. It takes momentum and direction to transform, yet you need the right coach to hold you steady, like a mama duck holding you steady. That's what RevitaZen reminds me of, that energy of like, okay, yeah, you're moving through this. Gotcha. transforming the stale patterns. So habitual patterns, stale patterns, flat patterns, like stale, like habitual, keeping you in a loop. It's different than adaptive. That's a brain loop. This is like an all body. I'm sure you all know. I felt stale like 3 days ago, just like flat. I am flat. That's how I felt 3 days ago. Like, oh my gosh, I just feel so flat. Thank goodness for RevitaZen, though. Got me out of that stale, flat place. And I think you mentioned it, Ariana, like, I don't know if you use this word, bright, life force, life affirming your life and vitality. That's RevitaZen. Transforming the patterns that keep you still, keep your body, mental, emotional patterns stale. So you think about RevitaZen, a steady transformer, helps you stay steady in times of transformation. We're in times of transformation. So RevitaZen is right on. It's the calming medicine through its steadiness. The calming medicine through its steadiness. Steady, steady, plodding along as you're transforming. Baseline, home base, safe place. As you're transforming, softening. Because as we transform, we can harden and get like, I'm transforming. And that's the liver. I'm sure we'll talk about it. The liver uprising, being angry, it's filtering, it's moving, and you could feel like on edge if you're filtering too quickly. Not with RevitaZen, though. It will help you soften your organs, soften the journey for this detox. And not even if you're not doing the 90-day reset, this is for life, the times right now. Softening, moving, detoxing, digesting and detoxing, digesting what's out there and then moving through it so you don't stay stuck in a state that's not truly yours. Okay, let me finish off. Emotional hardening, no softening. Feels at this, like I said, what I've been seeing with patients is this one field, the emotional field going out, and it's it usually fields will go all out. So this is new that I'm seeing people's emotional field going out while the other fields are in. And so it's confusing and discombobulating and making people feel wobbly. But RevitaZen is fixing that. So then you could just waft it over your body or diffuse it. And then where I'm going to suggest that you use it daily starting today, maybe right now, is part of a ceremony, or that is the ceremony, is just taking your RevitaZen. This is a really great place. Large intestine 4, easy peasy. You have access to it. Between the index finger and the thumb at the little pad right there. Yeah, just put it on that. That helps. Yep, that helps with digestion. It's a large intestine. Yep, thank you, Dr. Josie. That's it. That's your ceremony. And that's going to help you soften and move, detox, stay steady, help you feel safe, steady, and supported. Let me pause for a second to see if there's anything else I want to say, or if anybody wants to say anything about their experience with RevitaZen. I know that, yes, Diane Del Rey's said that it's the poor man's rose. Yes. And thank you for reminding me about that, because when we were meditating with geranium, we were like, this is the queen of flowers, not rose. But so then that makes sense Diane, that it is the poor man's rose, or another powerful flower, plant, herb, medicine. I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mica. I was thinking about when you were speaking, I had an experience where I was waiting in line and someone opened up and just started sharing they were going through a hard time. It was a stranger. And she just had turned 40, and she was talking about transformation. And she said, I've gone to Thailand, I've done all this. She spoke in a more extreme way. Like in my 20s, she thought of changing and transformation as having to be very extreme. And I really like this blend, in comparison to Zendocrine, because I think that partly what we need right now is this transformation. But I think there's a lot of people that are tired. There's a lot of people where it's been pretty heavy, hard, quite a few years since our pandemic. We've been going through so much change. And I love one of my mottos is slow and steady wins the race, right? So it's bringing these things in and not having to be so extreme. And we're going to share some slides, but we were talking about this reset, and we were all talking about, when we were younger, we did these cleanses and they were more extreme, and we tried different ones. And I think a lot of us were clear, like, we don't need to just be taking water or olive oil for 3 days, or, like, we don't need these extremes right now. We just need a way to break through the mundane and cherish our life and have it be softer, have it be approachable, have it be, we can go to work and take care of our children or whatever you're doing, and have it be sustainable. And so I just think that's a really important message, is that so much profound change can just start with slow and steady, simple actions, simple behaviors, simple practices. Can take less than 1 minute to put some RevitaZen in a diffuser or on your body or drink it. So just a little reminder there. And then I'm excited to hear, Will, what you have to share. He's going to share and always shares the traditional Chinese medicine perspective, which is also just such great insight on our oils. So
thank you so much. So I love that phrase, slow and steady wins the race, because that is what RevitaZen really does remind me of. And if you look at the actual anatomical liver, right, it's comprised of these liver cells that basically regenerate every month. And so an entire liver itself can, on average, you have a new liver every 3 years. So if you look at the long scope or long-term sort of quality of the liver, physical liver, it's like your best friend. It works for you 24/7, 365 days a year. It doesn't ever complain until it's really too late. But it actually also regenerates, and you have this renewed organ ultimately after 3 years. So from a Chinese medicine perspective, the liver is this interesting symbol, if you will, of the general, like the general of an army that is judiciously hearing what's happening if they're on the so-called battlefield, that it is taking in and making decisions or creating grand ideas so that it can be implemented into the physical action of the gallbladder ultimately. So in Chinese medicine, again, the liver is such I would say a important component, obviously, but it's also the most underscored organ, if you will. And the reason why is it's sort of like the Wizard of Oz, the master behind the scene, and it's doing all kinds of things necessary to keep you alive, to detoxify your body, detoxify the mental components, to process, to help your body mentally, emotionally, at the Chinese medicine perspective, to deal with this sort of emotional human being that we are, right? So the liver is an important organ, but often underscored in importance, if you will. And coming back to more of, again, a Chinese medicine perspective, if you compare Zendocrine and RevitaZen, right? The former Zendocrine had this sort of almost punch, if you will, to like bring about this sort of quick shift, quick change, open up the emunctories, as Dr. Rose mentioned. And the emunctories are basically 3 ways that your body can eliminate or remove toxins. That's through the pee, the poop, and the sweat, right? So to me, Zendocrine had more of this so-called emphasis on rosemary and geranium. They were so-called the more emperor or empress herbs, whereas RevitaZen, to me, it has at the emperor position, emperor meaning it's the main action of a formula. And it doesn't necessarily mean the highest concentration or the most highest number of grams or drops in a formula. It's just more of it's the important hierarchy, if you will. It's the top action of the formula. So for RevitaZen, to me, tangerine, rosemary, and geranium are at the emperor position, but I would say geranium dose-wise is less. But they also add in ginger. So that's a key herb in Chinese medicine to detoxify the other actions, or to, if you will, harmonize and to tone down certain actions of other herbs. So it acts as an assistant, if you will, to really the ginger, to bring about more of a subtle change, if you will, that allows for a change to happen. So if you, again, as Mica talked about, like if you punch through something and you want to create this massive change, your body might freak out. Mentally, emotionally, physically, the liver might become overwhelmed with too much processing of toxins, and your body's like, heck no, this is not going, I can't deal. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to have headaches. I'm going to have lethargy, more sluggishness. So it's actually creating the opposite effect of what you want, which is ultimately this change, but to happen on your time, right? To have like a pacer, if you will, in running or ultra running, where you have a pacer that is not trying to kick your butt and push you forward faster than you want to. It's really keeping pace with where you're at and what it is that you want to do to, again, ultimately get to your goal. In terms of the 90-day reset, I think that's pretty phenomenal that they're thinking 3 months, 90 days into how to look at shifting. Because again, if the liver, the hepatocytes take 30 days or a month, to sometimes it can take longer. Ultimately, it's almost like you're every month for these 3 months taking and bringing about more optimizing the liver function, the optimizing of the elimination of toxins through the bowels. So that, again, is another way that doTERRA has helped out to really make things more gentle, and again, being more at your pace of eliminating and removing the physical toxins, as well as the mental emotional components. So if we again break down RevitaZen, tangerine is at sort of the emperor position. We call it Chenpi, which is a citrus peel. It is bitter, pungent, slight warming. It has an affinity for the lung, the spleen, stomach, and the liver. It just is a great chi mover. It regulates what we call the middle jiao or the solar plexus, the whole earth component of our body. It dries that dampness and transforms phlegm. So again, senpi is really one of my favorite herbs. That citrus peel really helps to bring about that liver movement as well as the spleen movement. But we talk about, again, this sort of quality where the liver, that wood element, is really needing to soften. And the functions of when we're constrained, as I might have talked about in the Zendocrine blend, is this sort of constrainment syndrome that Zendocrine and RevitaZen deal with. Is the liver needs to have this sort of soothing, this coursing, this softening component. And without that, the constrainment is going to exist. And constrainment, as I talked about, is sort of like this feeling of being put into a glass jar and you have no movement, you're like suffocating, you feel overwhelmed at the emotional level. You feel like you're not moving anywhere, you're stagnant, and that could be a hard place physically and also mental emotionally. So again, we look at tangerine. Rosemary, as another emperor, empress herb, is called Mei De Xiang. Mei De Xiang, Mei is often talked about as like a confused, bewilderment. It's also obsessed, crazy about. Di, Mei Di Xiang, Mei Di, Di is alternately or repeatedly. And then Xiang is fragrant, sweet smelling, aromatic. So rosemary, in the Chinese sort of translation of it, is this fragrant herb that helps to remove the repetitive mind confusion, the repetitive thoughts that make you ultimately crazy or obsessed. So rosemary helps to clear and remove it through this fragrance, through this sweet smellingness, this aromatic, pungent plant. It's, again, pungent, sweet, and bitter. Goes to the liver, spleen, heart, lung, and kidney. It helps move the blood, clears that wind, cold. It also can clear wind, heat. It also transforms that phlegm and dries dampness and also tonifies that qi. The next herb, geranium, we call it tian zu kui. Tian is referred to the sky, it represents heaven. Zu is often from a Buddhist context, refers to India, the origins of modern Buddhism. Kui is the flower that represents the sun. So geranium in totality is this flower, this plant that has this sort of quality of more yang, because the sun is yang, tian, heaven is also representative of yang. But you have this sort of also nature, as we talked about, geranium being this yin, sort of divine feminine quality. And that's a key indicator ultimately of how geranium works. It's basically a very moving, like a very strong, potent herb that can help move the qi, move the blood, move out stagnation, but also at this yin quality where it really softens. It really works to soften that liver ultimately. I even probably, I should say this. It is equivalent to, we use in Chinese medicine, bupleurum, chai hu, has a really similar action to geranium. So it is neutral, sweet, pungent, goes to the spleen, the heart, kidney, and liver. Dries dampness, it stops bleeding, stops discharges, heals wounds, softens stones, promotes urination. So again, opens up the emunctory to help eliminate the pee part, moves the qi and tonifies the yin. The next herb, ginger. Ginger is really special in Chinese medicine. We have two components. One is the dried ginger, which is called ganjiang, meaning dried ginger. Shengjiang is fresh ginger. So looking at doTERRA and how they process ginger from Kenya and Madagascar, doTERRA actually, they harvest, or excuse me, they plant in the spring and they harvest in the autumn. So ultimately, when you look at ganjiang versus shenjiang, or dry ginger versus fresh ginger in Chinese medicine, ganjiang typically you plant in spring and then you harvest in the wintertime, the deep winter part, and then you dry it. Whereas fresh ginger, shenjiang, you plant in the spring, but then you can harvest actually in the autumn time, or excuse me, spring, well, summer, autumn time. So doTERRA, they harvest in the autumn time, and so carries with this, and then using the fresh part of the ginger. They don't dry it. So that again creates this shenjiang, fresh ginger action, which is more about movement. It's a strong qi mover. It is warm. So it's not like ganjiang or dried ginger where it's hot in Chinese medicine. So it's more of a warm temperature. It's very dispersing and has more quality of pungency. And it also detoxifies, really tones down the actions of certain herbs. So ginger, fresh ginger, we use a lot in aconite to detoxify aconite, which is very toxic and very harmful for you if you were to take fresh aconite and consume it, you would die. Basically, there's a whole processing of aconite in Chinese medicine where it actually becomes medicinal, meaning it doesn't kill you, and it actually is beneficial by combining it with fresh ginger. Other herbs like Pinellia, Bansha, we use fresh ginger to combine. So again, even in culinary Chinese cooking, one of the 5 important herbs we use in Chinese cooking is ginger. Why? Because it detoxifies meat. It detoxifies the sort of qualities of meat that can become inflammatory ultimately when you cook and burn meat. It detoxifies that toxicity. So ultimately, ginger in its formulation with RevitaZen, I believe it really does matter. Even if it's just a single herb added to this formula, it changes the quality, it changes the actions to tone things down that might have in Zendocrine been too much of a punch. So that ginger really helps to restore the subtletiness of moving the blood, helping to soften and soothe the liver in that manner. let's see, the final or two would be juniper. We call tu songzi, which is juniper berry. It goes to the heart, the spleen, the lung, the kidney, bladder, and liver. It's warm, it's sweet and sour, and it's pungent. So when you have that flavor, sweet and sour, always think it tonifies the yin, the material body, the sort of can tonify and build the muscles, the material flesh of the body. It warms the middle jowl. It expels phlegm, anti-parasitic, warms the lung and moves the chi. So really incredible herb, juniper berry. But it again can be really intense if you just take juniper berry by itself. They use juniper berry to, what is that alcohol? I forgot.
Gin.
Gin, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very strong medicine, right? Gin. I don't like gin. But anyways, the components of juniper berry in this whole kind of mix of formulations exemplifies this sort of quality to eliminate things, the toxicities that are water soluble out of that kidney, liver, kidney and bladder. Cilantro we call 香菜 or 五岁叶, which is basically translates as very fragrant plant or herb. Is very warm, pungent, has this sort of almost metallic flavor, if you will. So again, it has that lung affinity, the liver and spleen sort of affinity, very much moving the chi, the blood, disperses that cold on the exterior. It causes sweating. So again, we looked at those three ways that we eliminate. Sweating is another component of elimination. So on the totality, we have the overall formula of RevitaZen as warming. The sort of flavors are sweet, bitter, pungent, and sour. It has an affinity for the liver, the lung, the spleen, stomach, and the kidney. So again, to sort of summarize, this RevitaZen new formulation really, in a way, harmonizes the Zendocrine blend and helping to transform, helping to really move the chi of the liver. It helps us to soften and soothe the liver energy to allow for more transformation on your own time. So that way it doesn't overwhelm. So that's what I have.
Mm. Thank you so much, Will. Oh, you just always add so much wisdom to our calls. And I love the articulation because I definitely felt this with this blend immediately using it. And it's so wonderful to know why. And I love that breakdown of ginger too. So, after all of this, hopefully you are inspired to use some RevitaZen. And we want to invite you to join us in our 90-day reset. As you can see, we'll be bringing the RevitaZen in in month 2. However, I would definitely suggest diffusing it in month 1 in our prepare month so you could get it sooner. And this is just going to be a lovely reset. You can see we are activating the digestive system and supporting that. We're building with really great nutrients and we're cleansing. So good for the body. And we are going to be starting. Oh, excuse me. I have one more slide, which is we wanted to include this because it has the castor oil in it. And the RevitaZen with these little patches and the castor oil, forgive me, I forgot to mention the castor oil when I was talking about this, is a wonderful combination as well that goes right into the belly button. And so that will be in month 2, and we encourage you to get the castor oil in that month. And I thought I had a slide for when it would when we're starting, but I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, the 19th. I lost
Yes.
my slide.
Yes, next Monday, the 19th.
Yes, yes. Thank
And
you.
and we want to add that when you actually purchase your month 2 kit, you get a free castor oil from doTERRA. So that will come as a bonus to adding ordering that kit.
And I'd like to say, if anyone has, like my partner and I are doing it together in the same household, right? So we need more than one kit. I actually purchased this kit with the month 1 kit both this month. And you get the free castor oil this month with and if you purchase the month 2 kit. And so to be able to start in this first prepare month with the RevitaZen oil, diffusing it, putting it on the bottoms of your feet, and also getting that castor oil, those little patches, you just find them on Amazon. Super easy, y'all. And doing it on your belly button. What a gentle and supportive and wonderful, right? I see Dr. Mica like way to be, if you have the castor oil and the RevitaZen, start this month with them for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, and Diane said that's right. We still have free frankincense. So like I know that the second month kit is the biggest one with the most stuff, and it's like 200 and I don't know 15 or 20 PV. So it qualifies you for a free frankincense. So if you order that kit by the 15th, or I think it's a while supplies last with the frankincense or the 15th, you will receive a free oil of the month, which is RevitaZen, a free frankincense, and a castor oil. Yeah.
Okay, are we anything else? It's time, it's 11:02, so time to wrap up.
I think, well, I just wanted to say I don't think we have time to answer the question, but we can see if we have time next week. I loved Marilyn. Thank you, Marilyn. That's a fantastic question. She basically was asking us to compare, or I like to say DDX, differential diagnose, the difference between RevitaZen and DigestZen. I love those kind of conversations, right? That's like the kind of thing us doctors and all of it, we start to geek out on. So let's do that next week. Let's start to say, like, when would you use one versus the other? Are they interchangeable? I mean, they kind of are, but there's differences. And so we can talk about that. That's super juicy.
Love it. Absolutely. Okay, so yes, first of all, thank you to our amazing speakers today. We love the Oils A to Z call. Always learn so much from all of you, and we so appreciate that. Yeah, there is the slide Marilyn was asking to post month 1, month 2, and month 3 in the chat. And or if you're listening to the recording, if you go to our essentialwellness.life website and you go to the 90-day reset, we have this image there. We have every single kit by month listed out with a QR code. So it makes it super easy. If you then have your account, it should actually take you to that and then you log into your account. If you are not connected with anybody in doTERRA, or if you're coming and finding this on YouTube or Spotify, either reach out to the person that shared it with you and they will help you enroll, or you can email us directly. Our email is in the show notes and we will help get you started. We don't recommend just going to doTERRA and enrolling because then you just get randomly assigned with a wellness advocate and you have to enroll with a wellness advocate. And that way you can be in our community and then added to our Facebook page, and we will give you access to all of our amazing resources. So next week we have the I Have My Oils Now What call. We're going to show you how to make the very most of your membership, from free monthly products and hidden savings to simple daily routines that help you stay consistent and confident. And then, as we've already mentioned, it is the official start date of the 90-day reset. So we will, in the second portion of that call, have Q&A. We'll go over the protocol. We'll offer our tips. So yeah, Marilyn, come back with that question. We would love to dive into that. And then pretty much every Monday for the next 3 months, we will be diving into different aspects about the 90-day reset, the different products, tips, all kinds of goodness. So you'll definitely want to join us for these calls. And again, you can catch the recordings on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify, and find all the information on our website. If you're not yet part of our newsletter, opt in there because we also send this out in the newsletter. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Have a beautiful week, and we are excited to start the reset with you next Monday. Bye-bye.